Welcome back to my channel. I am your favorite mother of three, Bougie Vintage, and today's video is just some words of encouragement. So I was reading an old journal entry and I got to this part, and I'm only going to read you this little part of it because the whole thing is just too much. But I have $41 in my account that's not rent. So that meant that I had my rent money, and then anything after that was the $41. So I had rent, which was $3,000, and then I had $41 after the rent. I literally can't afford my life right now, but I gotta get out of here. Free me, God, please. And that part is in all caps, okay? I was praying down. Okay, I needed a miracle. And you know, this time of year is hard for a lot of people, and a lot of people are looking for a miracle. And you know, I have always stated on my channel I'm not into the Christmas hoopla, but since I had kids, girl didn't drag me into it, and my kids love Christmas, and so we do a little bit of celebrating here and there. Don't come for me, you know, I just appease the kids. I know a lot of people are looking for their little miracle right now, and so I just wanted to give these words of encouragement. But let me continue. Free me like you did in 2015. Free me, God, I am begging. And then it says some stuff here, and I'm gonna skip over, and then it says, and God, if it was you, thank you, in caps, because I should have been left. I want out now. I am ready, Lord. I can't take not one more deception from anyone. My sister came here and messed up so much stuff, and I've not been able to recover. I am hurting, Lord. I am tired of people abusing me. I am at my wit's end. I just skipped over a whole bunch of stuff as well. This is something I can no longer be aligned with. I just need to get out of here now. This was on December 1st. 2021, and at 8:25 a.m. That means that I woke up with this on my brain, okay? And I know there's probably a few of y'all that woke up today or this month and are just like, I'm over this. Like, I can't do this anymore. For whatever reason, God had me hold on and wait on him. And it was the best thing that I ever did, because I truly just didn't know what to do. Like, $41 $41 is all that I had. I had 3 little girls and I had $41. And this is, first of all, this is right after Nola was born. That meant that I had a newborn, okay, because she's born in March and this is in December. So that meant I had a newborn. Well, what do you consider newborn? Does newborn only go to 3 months? Either way, she was a baby, okay? So, you know, she's a few months old at that point. But I had her, and then I had 2 toddlers, and I was in such distress. I was going through so much stuff with not only He Who Shall Not Be Named, but also Tasmanian Devil. And I dealt with that at the same time. So I'm taking blows left, right, and center, okay? Like, it's a lot to swallow. And I was struggling. And you know, when Tasmanian Devil was at my house, it's almost like she tried to convince me that I had postpartum depression. And so when I look at some old journal entries, I see that I was accepting that curse. I see that I was accepting that, yes, I have postpartum depression, when I had already had 2 kids before that, and I've never had postpartum depression. But the reason that I was thinking that I had postpartum depression was because the atmosphere had severely shifted, because the support that I once had been shaken. And so the foundation that I had built with my first 2 children was not giving the same foundation once Nola was born, because at that point Tasmanian Devil had come in and started to unravel that, or chip away at that foundation. And so I had a good thing going, you know, with my mom, and all of that went to the crapshoot the minute that my sister had got into town. And so, well, not the minute, but it certainly eventually got to that point. And so I started feeling confused and, you know, bewildered, and I wasn't sure what I was going to do. But like, I was dealing with so much left, right, and center, okay? And I had to cut the cancers out of my life. And as much as it hurt to do it, I knew it needed to be done. And, you know, there was definitely sunshine and rainbows after those storms. And, you know, I weathered those storms at the same time. And it hurt and it was painful, but look at me now, girl. Look at me now, girl. Literally, look at me now. Like, I had to really go through it to grow through it. And I guess this is just your like December reminder, girl, that no matter what it looks like right in this moment, it's going to get better. I know you guys look at my life and are like, girl, can you really say it gets better? Absolutely. Absolutely. Okay. I really don't care what it looks like to the masses. I don't care what it looks like to y'all, because I trust God that much that even when I'm going through some hard things back then, I was able to lean on God and pray my way out of it. And so that's just been a pattern in my life. And so I'm just encouraging you guys to pray your way out of your mess. When I get to praying about something, it don't take too long for God to come down. Sometimes it feels long, but really in retrospect, whenever I have looked back at a situation, I'm like, it didn't take long. Because from the time that I relinquished control with the Tasmanian devil situation to the time that everything was revealed, to like my mom, like the blinders were taken off of her to prove that I'm not the crazy one. It didn't take long. I had gone to God so many times in that situation because that's just where my faith had been. And I had been like, God, please, like, do your big one, sir. Like, do something for me. God, can you do something for me? Hey, can you do something for me? Okay. I was going to him like Drake and 21 Savage. Okay. And I'm like praying about the situation because I didn't know what else to do. And so usually when my back is against the wall and I don't know what else to do, baby, I just go to pray about it. And so that's what I had done back then. And literally in no time, like literally no time, I've seen God work fast, but like this was super fast. In no time, from the time I said, okay, God, it's up and it's stuck, you take over, just guarantee me my income, I'll do the 1 day a week and I'll give her everything, like I will just let it all go, like she could have everything. And in no time, God revealed everything. He started unraveling everything and making my mom like privy to what was going on, really, because my mom was lost in the sauce. Okay, she really was. Like, she apologized to me so many times over the Tasmanian devil situation because she was so like not aware. And she's like, I don't understand how I didn't see it. And I'm like, you just weren't meant to see it because that's just the way it goes, right? In my situation, it's the same thing. I didn't see a lot of the things that I should have been seeing. And so I don't fault her for not seeing it, because when you're in any kind of deliberate confusion, so when somebody is deliberately trying to confuse you or gaslight you or, you know, create a certain amount of chaos, but also it's like just enough chaos to skew your perception of reality. And that's what I was living in. And so I know a lot of you have dealt with this whole narcissist thing, and the word narcissist has just caught a fire, girl, and has just spread like wildfire, really. And so more and more people are talking about it, and more people are understanding what it is and how it can affect anybody, and how like NPD is like not just in romantic relationships but also in household. You know, it's in moms and dads and sisters and brothers. And so, you know, I had always stated that I never knew what my sister was diagnosed with because she kind of made sure to keep that part of her life a secret. So we have no idea what she's diagnosed with. We just know that she has diagnoses, okay, or diagnoses, whatever you call it. So like we don't know if it's NPD or BPD, borderline personality disorder, or bipolar disorder. We don't know what it is. We just know that it is something severe and medicated. So based on that, sometimes it's just really hard to deal with people with mental illnesses, and like especially when it's a mental illness that there is no cure for, right? If somebody just comes in your space and is just manipulating you up and down and just doing the most, you know, you're just like, what the frig is this? Like, what is really going on here? And so for me, I didn't have any options but to pray about it, because I was dealing with two evils at the same time and wasn't sure which way to go. And so it just further strengthen my faith, because the minute that I actually let go and actually just allowed God to do what he needed to do in those situations, it changed. I was freed from that situation, and then shortly after that I was freed from my next situation, because in the summertime I think I was like, okay, I'm just gonna give her what she wants, I'm just gonna do 1 day a week. By October or September, everything had unraveled, right? It was like within 3 months or less, everything had just come to the surface, and like it could not be hidden anymore. All the money, all the spending, all the just manipulation that was happening came to the surface, and like it was revealed, right? And then I was smiling, because I was just like, oh my God, thank God. Like, one thing about it is, if you have not been doing wrong, you're going to be vindicated when you believe in God and you just put it in his hands. And so that's really what that was. I was in the court of Jesus, okay? I was in Jesus' court, okay? Forget Judge Mathis, girl. I was in Judge Jesus. So he vindicates me in that situation. By October, my sister had been kicked out, okay? And so fast forward, by December of that year, so literally 2 months later, so now that my sister's gone, all the focus gets shifted back to the initial abuser. So then it just gets really bad in December and January, and then I start looking for a therapist or whatever, getting the tools that I need to navigate my situation and to be able to leave, because I had $41, baby, when I wrote that, and that was December 1st. And things were getting really bad, and I was like struggling with, like, I am not stable right now. I have a $3,000 debt, okay? My house is the biggest debt, right? I have a $3,000 rent. I have an $800 car note. Can I afford to leave this person right now? And every time I looked at the facts, every time I looked at the evidence that was being presented to me, oh, glory to God, this is a word, girl. Ooh. Every time I looked at the paperwork, all the answers pointed to no. You cannot leave because you're about to have 3 kids and your mama, and you're not gonna be able to afford it. So you better just shut up and take whatever he's dishing out, because you can't leave. You don't have no money to leave. You're not making 10 bands a month anymore. You're not making 16 bands a month anymore. You cannot leave. And I'm just sat there like, God, I don't care. I don't care what the paperwork says. Yeah. I don't care what it says. I don't give a damn at this point. I'm gonna risk it for the biscuit. I'm really gonna take my chances, because I can't do this anymore. And you have to get to that point for God to be able to really step in for you. You have to get to the point where you're like, I don't know what the hell's gonna happen, but I'm walking by faith and not sight. Okay, so that's where I'm looking at the facts and the evidence that's being presented in the court of Jesus. And the prosecution is telling me, baby, you can't leave. That's the devil, okay, telling me you can't go nowhere because you don't have no money to go nowhere. You have $41, and next month you're only gonna have $24. So let's do the math. You wanna risk it and tell your landlord that you can't pay your rent and he's getting ready to evict you? Like, this is the stuff that's really happening, and I'm just like, no, I don't want that, but I also don't want to lose my freaking mind. And that's the thing, the enemy's after your mind, right? And so I'm just like, I'm not going to allow the circumstances to try to predict or tell me what the future holds, because one thing I know is that I serve an on-time God. And was my God on time? He absolutely was. So I wrote this in December, and obviously by January I was done and trying to see, like, how do I get this person out of my house, right? But there was also a lot of like back and forth with like, oh my gosh, should I leave? Should I stay? Should I leave? Should I stay? And it wasn't until I put on my big girl panties and I went to God and just knew that there was only one option for me, and it was to leave. And God was pretty much telling me, like, in those moments, it's me or it's him. If you come with me, girl, I'm gonna show you what to do. If you want to stay there, you can stay, but you're going to be miserable, and you know, a lot's gonna happen. None of it's gonna be in your favor. And I had to just trust him. And so when I finally broke, so to speak, or bent as far as I could, that's when I left. And I promise you, it was like immediately after that. Because remember, if you remember my birthday video from 2022, I told you guys it was my birthday gift to myself. Maybe it was my birthday gift from God. And the way that I was blessed and still am reaping the blessings of listening to God, finally just like trusting God and just being like, yes, you know, this was my faith without works is dead moment, because I was praying about it, but I had to put the action behind it. I couldn't just be praying about it and be like, oh God, please, 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 and then sit there twiddling my damn thumbs. Couldn't do that, right? And so once I stopped twiddling my thumbs and actually like picked up, do you know that immediately after I walked away, everything had been restored. I was not broke. I have not been broke since then. Praise the Lord. I have not been broke since I left. And it's a miracle, and also it's just so refreshing. And it further strengthens my relationship with God, because he has literally kept this boat afloat. He has kept everything in alignment. And that is why I don't do anything without him, because honestly, I don't know where I would be. When I tell you guys my stories, a lot of them seem far-fetched. A lot of them seem like, what the frig? And even when I listen to my own stories, I'm like, this really happened to me? Like, I allowed this to happen? Who the hell was I? Like, who was that? You know what I mean? Like, I shock myself a lot. And I am so blessed to be alive, to talk about my story, my life, and to share it with you guys, and one day with my children, and you know, just everything I've walked through. But I just wanted to encourage you guys today, because like I said, December is tough. And if y'all don't take nothing else from me, baby, take my faith, okay? And ask God to give you just a mustard seed, a tiny little scoop of what he gave me. Because I think what God gave me in the faith department is actually, like, it's a little ridiculous. Like, I feel like my faith is just so much. And I'm grateful for it. I really am. But it's like an overwhelming amount of faith. But it's just like, when you've gone through what I've gone through, how do you not have it? Right? And so I know there's people that are like, this is foolishness. But baby, baby, nothing you can say can take me away from my God. Not me singing the Sister Act songs, girl. No, literally. There's nothing that can separate me from God, because I just be knowing. And you know, I know people are often like skeptics and stuff or whatever, but like, one of the main things that I think really solidifies that God is real is how he tells me stuff that's gonna happen before it does. And so I do not identify as a psychic. And so I don't identify as a medium. I don't play with no type of witchcraft, no type of new age, nothing, girl. I don't play that. So when God talks to me and I can hear him clearly a lot of the time, like, he speaks to me in so many different ways, I couldn't even begin to calculate and tell y'all how he be talking to me. And so he does often tell me stuff ahead of time. And to me, that is one of the biggest proofs, really, that he is real, that God is real. And again, my life is just a testimony. I'm not lucky. Baby, I'm not lucky. God literally chose me and appointed me for whatever he's got going on. And I'm just a willing vessel, girl. I am just a willing vessel. I just be walking in it. whatever he says goes, you know. And so, you know, my prayer is that if you are on that walk, that you will get to that place if you're not there already, because I'm not the only person that lives life like this. Like, there's a lot of us out here that are really just living, you know, however God intended us to live. And I am often overwhelmed with the things that God shows me or tells me. And so I kind of just wanted to share a little bit of this with you, because you might only have $41 to your name right now. Hell, you might even only have $5 to your name. Don't spend it on the McDonald's, girl. Don't spend it on the McDonald's, even though God will likely spin the block and give you a miracle, unless he told you not to spend it on the McDonald's, which he probably just used me to tell you don't spend it on the McDonald's, so he's not going to give you any more if you spend it on the McDonald's now. But we serve a God that provides, right? And so it's like, you might have only $5 in your account, but somehow he might send somebody to call you up and just be like, hey, you want to come over to my house for dinner? Like, and you get to save for $5. You didn't know what the hell you was going to eat. You was about to boil some ramen. No, girl, eat the ramen tomorrow. Somebody invite you over to the house for dinner, okay? And so God be coming through for us in so many different ways. And like, I didn't expect that my life would pick back up the way that it has after it was dragging for so long. And I was like just stuck in this place. But that's because I was fearful of what was on the other side of my faith. I was so unsure of not only myself, but I think at the same time, as strong as I felt I was in my faith, I was still very unsure of what God could do. And I realized there is no limit to that. And that's the best thing about serving the God that I serve, because there's no limit to what God can do. What we think of God, or how we think of God, as big as we think of him, is still such a small and minuscule scale. Like, God is not worried about my little $41. He was never worried about the little $41, because he was going to multiply that by I don't even know how much, okay, every single month. So God was never worried about my little $41, me crying about my little $41. What he was worried about was if I trusted him, so that I didn't have to worry about the little $41, okay? And so that's just really where we need to be. I am proof that it gets better. You might not be in a domestic situation. You might be in a different kind of situation. You might have just lost your job. You might have, I don't know, girl. Whatever your need is, pray about it. And then allow God to meet you where you're at, and just do what he says to do. And you might not hear him, but you will feel in your spirit what he wants you to do. And you go forth and you do that. And then he can bless you for just simply being obedient. Anytime I'm in trouble, girl, I pray. And God has his way, period. The Bible is constantly reminding us about how important it is to pray and fast, girl. But okay, but the Bible is always reminding us how important it is to pray, because that's the only way we can reach God. Okay, girl, that is his phone number. Okay, just be praying. Okay, just constantly in prayer. In Psalms 37 verse 40, it says, this is my little book. In Psalm 37 verse 40 says, and the Lord shall help them, and he shall deliver them from the wicked, and save them because they trust in him. And that's really what happened in my life. Now, you may not be dealing with the wicked. You may just be dealing with everyday things. Like I said, there are no limits to God. And so no matter how big or small you think it is, pray about it. You might just want a chocolate bar. You might just want a chocolate bar, girl. And if you pray about it because it's important to you, when your significant other comes home, they might have picked you up a chocolate bar and surprised you with it. And you might forget, like, oh my God, I was really like craving chocolate. That's God, baby. That's God. So don't forget God too in the little things. And really, that's the least we can do. That's it for this video. Tell me in the comment section below a time that God really showed up and showed out for you. I would love to hear about your miracles, big and small, okay? So I love you all, and I will definitely see you in the next one. This is what I'm talking about, you guys. This is what I am talking about. Literally, I finished editing this video. I pressed save. I grabbed my phone to just grab my phone. You know, I was just about to like go message whoever. I don't know what I grabbed my phone for. And I see an email from freaking PayPal telling me that we've closed the case in your favor. Can I get a hallelujah and an amen, girl? Like, literally, as I finished editing the video, that I had to cancel saving my video to include this in the end. This is the little miracles that I'm talking about.
Everything is so on time.
On time. Oh my God, this is the God I serve, okay? It's always going to be in my favor. Always going to be in my favor because I pray about everything and I have faith that he is going to do stuff in my favor because that's what his word says, and that's the promise that he gave to me and my children and my mama and everybody that is attached to me, that loves me and uplifts me, period. Okay? So if you don't believe nothing else,
we're not showing off. Oh, we're showing off for him.
If you don't believe nothing else, girl, believe in my God, okay?